Hi everybody, welcome to the Fed Trend Show. This week we're going to talk about ENs, evaluation notices. So that's when you've submitted a bid to the federal government and they've come back to you with a request for you to clarify or modify or change your bid in some kind of way. Now, there's a lot of discussion that usually happens when these things show up. First off, you're kind of panicked because you thought maybe you'd be seeing an award notification and now, oh, we got questions. So what does it mean? Now, the first thing that I think is important is there's usually a kind of a push-pull conversation that happens about what does the government really mean. You're never going to usually you're not really going to know exactly what is behind those questions. So here's the way that I recommend approaching it. First off, start with different perspectives. Read the questions that they send you first. Assume there's no agenda. Just get the regular, pure, what are they talking about when they ask me these questions? So if they asked, why do you want to have your service center off-site? Or why did you decide to locate this in Iowa? Just answer the question. Maybe they were just asking. The second viewpoint to take. Ask yourself, if they wanted to pick me, if they've already decided that I've won, what do these questions mean? Are they just trying to document the file, or are they just trying to further delineate why they picked my bid versus somebody else's bid? And then the third way to read it is, if they want to pick somebody else, are they finding a way to knock us out? Are they trying to prove that either the price wasn't reasonable, or are they trying to say that we selected a tool that had risk? Read it from that perspective. Now, that at least will give you three different viewpoints or vantage points to discuss objectively, because what you don't want to do is just rely on the people in the room. Maybe you've got some optimistic or pessimistic people that are going to get together. Try to be objective about what the possibilities could be. The next topic you want to discuss is, do you really want to stick to the bare minimum, or do you want to try to say more? If you think that they're just objectively asking you for some clarification, then say in the bare minimum. Don't give them extra to go on, and just answer their question is fine. If you think that they're trying to pick you, but they needed a little bit more information about some particular topic, then it might be okay to kind of explore that topic for them a little bit more. Now, the next aspect is, don't always assume that they're looking for a lower price. There's a FAR requirement that the government is always supposed to ask if there's a further discount available on whatever price was being given. So if you don't have some compelling information that tells you that you have to lower the price, I would start from the standpoint of, I'm not going to dramatically lower the price. I usually end up saying, okay, if we want to give a little bit of something, you can take a few $100s off to demonstrate that you came down a little bit, but you don't have to start rethinking, do I need to come in dramatically lower than where my kind of strategy, solution, and intelligence told me that I should be. The next note I would say is, respond in the least formal way based on how they sent the information to you. If they just sent you an email, send them an email back. If they wrote you a letter on letterhead, write them a letter on letterhead back. And if they sent you a full government EN template and asked you to make change pages, then you need to do that. But if they sent you an email, don't send back a proposal revision that they didn't ask for. That leads to follow the instructions. Whatever they've told you to do. If they told you update pricing, update pricing. If they ask you a clarification question, respond to it. If they said that they wanted to see some justification for either a basis of estimate or whatever it was, follow the instructions. If they say change pages, do change pages. If they don't, I wouldn't recommend doing them. So pay attention to the instructions. Now, if you need to ask for clarification, because whatever their question was just wasn't quite clear to you, it's totally fine to do that. But you should know that if you ask a question at this stage, it's possible that they're going to broadcast your question out to everybody else. So clarifying their question is fine, but I'd try to make sure you don't tip your hand and expose your solution or strategy. My final tip is, just pick a path and be true to it. If your bid was centered on innovation, don't rethink that now. If your bid was centered on being low cost, don't rethink that now. Now, if what the questions came out made you think that they really don't want you, you're not going to be able to dramatically change everything in your bid. Sometimes you just write the wrong answer, and if that's what you've done, you kind of need to live with it. I've gotten ENs before that what they said to me was, all the words in the solicitation about innovation and wanting new ideas is not what they wanted. They just wanted cheaper. And so instead of responding to the ENs, I just withdrew my bid because there was no point, because I knew they didn't want it. So pick a path and stick with it. So whatever you were bidding, just try to be consistent with that. Don't try to say you were going to do all this innovation, but also now we're going to cut our price down by 30%, because you're just setting yourself up probably to lose and also to not deliver if you win. Just some thoughts on ways to handle ENs. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you next week.